What's up guys? Matt Downs here with TRICKEDTINS, and on today's episode we're going to be doing a recap of my 6 favorite builds from 2021. We're going to also do a little look to the future of 2022, some of the new products I'm going to be offering you guys. As you can see, Santa came a little early. We've got a bunch of goodies here. Some of these are for my personal boat, and some of these are for some builds that I have planned. I've got a lot of apparel here, which is another thing I'm going to be working on. But the main thing I'm going to bring to you in 2022 is going to be these graph bridges. I think that these are the most underrated thing you can have on your boat, especially if you're trying to run one of these Panoptic systems. If you don't have a graph bridge, you're missing out. I'm going to be working on a couple different styles, some single mount, some dual mount graph bridges. So look for that video to be dropping here shortly, mid-January. So let's get right into it. 2021 was a whirlwind. I was building boat after boat, product after product, started shipping stuff out online, and it just got to be so overwhelming. I was working around the clock, working all night, always behind the 8 ball, but I always put out a stellar product. So the first boat that I did in 2021 was a Tracker Grizzly 1648. This particular boat I found on Craigslist about maybe 6 months before I met the customer who was going to purchase it from me. It was a really nice boat. It was in great shape. Obviously, it was a welded hull, so it was a plus. I actually sold the customer the boat and the build at the same time. This was the first build that I used my drop-in electrical panel hatch, which was a sweet asset to add into the boat because it really changed the whole way that I did all of my electrical and my plumbing for my live wells. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I finished the Tracker Grizzly. I had another boat sitting in my yard that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace probably almost a year earlier. It was a Grumman 1542. It was a skinny boat, it was old, riveted. It was a very lightweight boat. I got a good deal on it, and I literally just figured that today was the day that I was going to build this boat out. I did not have a buyer or a customer in mind. I just wanted to build the boat to my own specs and make it something that would be appealing. Obviously, I was trying to make it something that someone would be interested in purchasing because that was the whole end goal for it. I wanted to make it nice, but I didn't want to put too much money into it because I was just trying to flip it. And I ended up going a little overboard, as I always do, but it turned out to be a really cool build. I'm very happy with the customer who bought it. He uses it all the time. He loves it. So let's check that one out. I was on a high from selling the Grumman boat. I was ready to get back into it. I had been talking with a local pro fisherman by the name of Chaz Carrington. He had a 1448 well built. It was in rough shape, and he wanted to do a whole rehab of the entire boat, and I was all about it. I love the well builds. It's one of my favorite John boats, and I was ready to get into it. We had kind of come up with a design and went back and forth a couple of times, and eventually we got to the point where he was just like, go ahead and build this boat the way that you would build it if you wanted to fish it for yourself. And as soon as he said those words, that boat turned into something magical. It's actually the boat right here on this flag. One of my favorite builds. So the whole time I was working on Chaz's 1448 well build, I had another well built that I picked up about 6 to 8 months earlier off of Facebook Marketplace. It's been sitting in my backyard for a while. It was a 1548. It was a foot longer than the boat I just built. I had something planned for this, I just didn't know how to do it. I really wanted to turn this boat into the ultimate John boat, the king of the John boats. And I didn't know how to do it. I've been reaching out to a lot of guys on social media that were building boats, and the same kind of thing that I'm doing. I ended up kicking around this idea with Sham for Real on Instagram, and he told me that the best way to put it out there is to get a YouTuber to be on board with helping me promote it. So luckily, he contacted SB Fishing for me and told him that we were interested in doing a collaboration, and that's all it took. Just like that, I called SB, and within a matter of minutes, we hit it off. It was something that was just meant to be. Everything fell into place, nothing was forced. It was a lot of work, I mean a ton of work, around the clock, non-stop, but we put this thing together in a very short amount of time, and it's amazing. It is definitely the king of the sea. This gets us right into King Neptune. Okay, so King Neptune, really? Wow. Mind blown. This boat was everything that I had ever imagined it could be and so much more. I mean, it has a coffin style rod locker. You can hold up to 8-foot rods. I think that Matt Strikel's had at least 20 rods in that rod locker. I mean, the thing is got to be the best John boat ever built. It's basically a full-size bass boat shrunk down into a John boat. So it burned the candle at both ends. And when I was finished with that build, I took about 2 weeks to kind of regroup and clean my garage and just get back to normal life because I was working around the clock to get that thing done. I had another boat sitting here the entire time I was building Neptune, and that ended up turning into my 5th build of the year, which was Miss Mary Jane. It's an all-weld 1648, has a lot of cool electronics in it. The boat had a huge potential, and it just needed a little bit more loving to get it to the point it's at now. And this is actually one of my favorite theme builds, Miss Mary Jane. So who doesn't love Mary Jane? I mean, really. A lot of people may not appeal to some of the colorways of my boat builds, but the boat build itself is sick. If it was the regular old John boat green with some gray turf in it, it would be exactly right up your alley. Just because it looks like Fruity Pebbles and has a marijuana theme, you may not like it, but you know what? I love it. That was also one of my top favorite builds. And that leads me into my 6th and final big build of 2021, which is actually the boat that I'm standing in front of right now. This boat is very sick. As you can see, it's got some LEDs in it. It's normal, all my normal stuff going on here. But this boat is dope, and I cannot share too much with you. I'll give you a couple of sneak peeks of some footage of it, but I'm going to be dropping a full walkthrough video on the channel very shortly, so stay tuned and make sure you check that out. Boat number 6, 2021. Okay, so you've seen my top 6 pick, or pick 6 of 21, however you want to look at it. Bottom line is, between these 6 builds, I probably did 24. It was a close call between some of these builds, and these are the 6 that I handpicked as my favorites for this year. Looking forward into 2022, I'm really looking forward to pushing these graph bridges. I have some cool ideas, some cool designs, a lot of cool stuff coming with the graph bridges. I'm going to have a lot of apparel. I'm going to have some hats dropping for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Check out the next video. It's going to be all about graph bridges, and it's just going to be fun stuff. So 2022, I have high hopes. I'm hoping that Things are going to take off the same way they did in 2021, except they're going to be on overdrive. So thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe and hit that like button because I need to grow the channel. We need more subscribers, more followers. I can't do this without you. Thanks again. See you next time.